Hey YouTubers, more Rob Moffat. Guys, this video is for people who are thinking about getting more food, becoming a prepper, or maybe they're already a prepper and they'd like some information or ideas about what they could be stocking up more in their food supplies. Here's the deal. Like back in this year, January, February, I was reading stuff about the virus, and I was kind of early. I got my gloves and mask and alcohol like way before everybody else. Around March 8th was the last time I went to the store. I used to go every week. And I got a bunch of stuff extra. I didn't go for like 5 weeks. I go like now about once a month or so. But anyway, I've run out of some things like everybody else has. And I've noticed there's places where I used to buy food online. They no longer have a selection I had before, or the price has gone up quite a bit. So I'm going to be focusing more on becoming more food sufficient and having more supplies than I did in the past. I thought I'd go over some of the stuff I bought in the past that I'm not an expert in anything except maybe one thing: getting a really good value for my money and buying things that really taste good. And I think you might be interested in some of the things I've purchased. Let's go over them. We'll start with some of the stuff. I think these are like mostly Walmart stuff. We're also going to go over the stuff I bought from the Mormons and stuff I buy online at Amazon, things in bulk. Now, this is something I like. It's frozen. It's fresh caught. I don't think it's from China, and their salmon fillet is very nutritious and rather inexpensive for salmon. They don't taste like red eye or sockeye salmon or anything, but they're pink. But they're pretty decent. I've bought these a ton of times. I've never had a bad batch or any bad salmon. All pretty good value. This is my famous sliced olives. It's a comfort food. I like adding different things, and it's a pretty good deal, like $1.69. These taco shells are very inexpensive, like $1.25. They'll go stale if you have them for too long, but you know, if you've got beans in the house, you've been eating beans, you put these in taco shell with a few pieces of vegetable or some cheese, and you know, it's a totally different deal. People have been eating tacos for years for good reasons, or not years, for centuries. Now, here's something I kind of gave up on: olive oil, because I never know anymore if what I'm eating is really the money I'm paying for. Is it really the olive oil I should be getting? You don't know. I started investigating coconut oil. I use it more now, and it lasts longer than most of the other oils. I cook and it tastes better with it, but I'm still learning about it. There's pros and cons. Right now, there's probably somebody yelling at me on YouTube saying, "Don't buy that crap." You know, but this is what I've been buying. It lasts longer than most of the other oils, and I feel more comfortable than buying some of the other oils. These mushrooms, I read the study, I did a video on it, are people buying it not just for the taste of it, but it helps people with medical issues, cognitive issues, and other things. I'm always really surprised. And I'm finding new ways to use it all the time. And very inexpensive. $1.25 for 8 ounces. That's $2.50 a pound. I don't know how you go wrong. Now, these ramen, I think regular pasta is more nutritious, has less ingredients that might be questionable. Like the flavor packets, I don't think you really want to use those a lot. But it's become a comfort food to me, and I can take a pack of the ramen noodles and cut it in half and boil it with some flavoring of my own and add in some vegetables and so on, and make a nice little lunch or a snack. And it's very, very quick. But you can also cook your pasta very quickly in the pressure cooker too, and it's actually cheaper and less chemicals and so on. But this has become a comfort food for me, and they're inexpensive and they last a long time. Jiff, you once in a while, you know, you got to treat yourself, have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, it's very nutritious and it goes a long way. Cornmeal. I didn't grow up eating cornmeal, but I think it's, well, first of all, it lasts in the cupboard longer than the flour, I think. And I use it a lot to bind up things when I make my veggie burgers. And also, I found a way I can cook cornmeal in a little tiny skillet on top of my stove with very little heat, and doesn't heat up the house. And it's a very pleasant tasting snack. I like cornmeal. And cornbread and beans, it goes together. And it's rather inexpensive, too. This is really surprising, something that really surprised me. I only found out recently how easy this is to cook and how inexpensive it is. I've always known it was nutritious, but I didn't really investigate that much. I've heard bad things about tofu and this and that, soy boy and all that. Actually, it's very nutritious, and some of the things people have said about it I don't think are correct. And I found where I put it on the panini grill with some onions and mushrooms and spices and a little salad dressing and cook it for 20 minutes, and it's very delicious. Here's the deal. It's like $1.68. It comes in a rectangular container. It's got water. You can put it in your freezer. It'll last a year, and it'll still taste fresh when you open it up. I'm thinking about buying a freezer. I'm not thinking. I'm going to buy a freezer. And this is one of the things I'm going to be putting in my freezer because this is a lot of protein packed into a very small space. And like I said, I made a video on this, how easy it is to cook using the mushrooms and the onions on the panini grill. It's a winner. I was really surprised. You want to freeze it first, and then when it thaws out, you squeeze out the liquid, and it becomes a different texture. That helps a lot. Well, if you got peanut butter, you got to have jam. I love jam. Jam. I think one of my earliest food memories is white bread and jam and butter. I cannot eat that or think about it without smiling. Bread flour, that's something that was missing from the shelves a lot since the pandemic. Everybody's making their own bread at home. I never used bread flour before. I always used the regular flour, and I did notice a little bit difference in the bread when I made it in my bread maker. This is 5-pound bag of shredded cheddar. I put it in little tiny bags, like 5 of them, and put them in the freezer, and I use them one at a time in the regular part of the refrigerator, and they last a very long time. Sometimes you just need a tiny little bit of cheese to make something a little special and more appealing to you. When you're dealing with storage food you got in the cupboard and so on, you haven't been to the store in 6 or 8 weeks. A little cheese sometimes can brighten up the possibilities. I love raisins, and these are the least expensive, tastiest raisins I've ever found in any of the stores. They're like $2.75. They're like $3. $1 a can, maybe $1.25. I always add stuff to my spaghetti sauce anyway, and I don't notice a big difference between this and the stuff that comes in the jars after I've added my spices and so on. This turns off almost everybody, but I figure I hardly ever eat meat. And if I do eat meat, I might as well eat the most nutritious, dense food I can get, and that's the calf liver. It's like 3 something a pound. And I made a video on how to cook this. I've not seen anybody else. I think I came up with it. It's a way to cook it. It's the easy, really simple way. And it's no fuss, no muss, and no flour and this and that and egg. It's just simple way to cook it. And you're going to be surprised if you're able to eat liver. Some people just can't think of eating it. But I'll leave a link to the video I made on how to cook this. Peanuts, well, they're also nutritious and they're a great snack, and like what is it, $1.80 something. And here's the deal, I think food's going to be going up, so you can buy these and it'll last a long time. Now, what about some of the other stuff? The Mormons, a lot of the stuff they had for sale, it's not available anymore. This is what's got me not worried, but it's just making me be proactive and making sure I got more stuff on hand than I did before. I did a video on all these because I purchased them before, and I've opened them up and used them and found ways to make use of them in the best way I can. And because you don't want to have stuff on hand you never eaten it before, and then if things get rough and you're eating something like you don't even know how to cook it. So I've experimented with everything here, and I did a review on everything, showing you what I like and don't like. About the only thing I didn't like was the carrots, but that was because I didn't find the right way to cook it. There's really no bad food. There's just people don't know how to cook it. But onions are available, and beans and pinto beans, but hardly everything else. Most of the stuff is not available. I used the milk a lot. Like I said, the macaronis, actually it's better and more nutritious than the ramen noodles, and you can cook it if you use your pressure cooker just in a couple minutes, turn off the heat, and you're done. Come back in a few minutes later. And so I have all of this stuff on. I've been using it, and I'm ready for stuff to happen. And but the price is going to be going up. I don't, since all the stuff except for the powdered milk will last 30 years. It's got a 30-year expiration date. I think the milk is 20 years. But yeah, I would I buy whatever they had available. If you don't have any of this, I would get some. I I haven't learned as much how to use the the wheats, except for making flour for the bread. There's other things I could be doing with the wheat, but I started just ignoring the wheat and just going straight to the macaroni, or the flour. If the flour lasts 30 years and the wheat lasts 30 years, I'm just going to buy the flour and the macaroni. I haven't bought any more wheat. But the thing is, there's many things you can use wheat for other than the pasta and the flour for the bread. So, what about Amazon? I bought stuff on Amazon in bulk over the years, stuff that is actually good bargains. Let's see what we can find here. Clams I bought recently. The price is decent. The case of 12 for $21, and there's more protein in them by volume than I think the tuna, and it gets a different texture, flavor than tuna. Also, less problem with mercury and so on. And I don't know if they come from China or not, though. That's not something I'm not comfortable with. But the salmon, I bought it, but I wasn't thrilled. I've got like 6 or 7 videos on mackerel. I figured out how to make it tasty, and it, to me, after working with it, is just as tasty as this particular salmon. I love salmon. Like sockeye salmon is just incredible, even out of the can. But this isn't it. I found it's too expensive. I would rather just get the mackerel and work with it. And check out the video. I'll leave links to the videos I've made on how to use the mackerel. Elderberries, the blueberries, I use them every single morning. At night, before I go to bed, I put the blueberries handful in water with some protein powder, some amla powder, and some what is it? The stuff, the psyllium husk, Metamucil stuff, and then in the morning I mix it up with the blender and have it like a little shake. And I've read so many studies about blueberries being healthy for you, but you want to make sure you have your blueberries without consuming dairy, because the lactic acid in dairy will inhibit the ability of your body to absorb the nutrients that are in the blueberries. I think all my food's on the bottom. Let's see. These are things I bought over the years I liked, and I left in my Amazon. If you go to Amazon using my link, anything you buy on Amazon, they throw me a few pennies. And this is the stuff I bought over the years on Amazon that I liked a lot and left up. So the things I didn't like a lot, I never put up here. Come on, let's get to the food. Oh, these are some really good cookbooks. This, we pass it up. Oh, there. Let's get to the food, Bob. People are unsubscribing as we talk. Great little gadget. You want to get you one of these pressure cookers. If you're a single person or you're a couple, you can cook so many different things really quickly with this little pressure cooker. Of course, nowadays everybody's got those smart cookers that are a pressure cooker anyway, but really inexpensive too. I wish it was in stainless steel though. I have a big one in stainless steel. And there it is, a big one, big old stainless steel pressure cooker. That's a great little blender. Okay, now we got to the foods. This is something I only bought once. I'm not a big fan. But I mean, it is good, but it was too expensive for what it was. Same as the Palouse brand of beans and peas. These are the best lentils and green beans that I've ever had, but they're expensive. $15 for 5 pounds. You can get Goya for like $1.25 a pound. So this is like $5 a pound. You get a nice bag, but no, they're the best ones you can buy, but they're a little high. The molasses, this is great molasses, but you got a gallon. After a while, it's going to go bad. But in the meantime, if you use it a lot, it's a bargain. This is a great broth. It doesn't have MSG or a lot of other chemicals. It's very few chemicals in there. Orrington Farms, I recommend it highly. I've had their beef and I've had their chicken. And I think I even had the pork. The chicken is probably the best one. I did a video on the cod liver oil, good stuff. This is something I buy and use all the time. It's parsley. Parsley is extremely nutrient dense, and I used fresh for years and years, but I'd go to the store so many times and they were either out or it was limp. I didn't want to use it. It was in really bad shape, or it was really dirty, or it had pieces of grass mixed up in it, which will make you sick to your stomach. So I just started buying the dried parsley, and now I probably use a lot more parsley than I ever did before, but it's maybe not as many nutrients because it's dried, but I put the bag in the freezer or in the crisper, and I put the rest of it out in a little big tumbler, and I use it every day when I cook. This is amazing. I shouldn't, the word use not amazing. Nothing like this is amazing. Nothing amazing on this page. This is a very cool brand of bread yeast. It's I have a bag for 7 years. I bought a new bag, and the new bag and the old bag, there was hardly any difference in the ability for the bread to rise. The yeast was still working after 7 years. Of course, I kept most of it in the freezer, but I recommend this brand highly if you're trying to buy a bread yeast for your making your bread at home. If you're interested in making champagne, I only started a little bit. I don't know a lot about it, but I found this particular brand of yeast to be a lot of fun to work with. This, if you're trying to quit coffee, this is expensive, but a very good brand of imitation beverage for coffee. This kale powder, I never did finish it. I only had a couple spoonfuls. I probably shouldn't have put it up here because I didn't think that was that great. But maybe I just didn't. No, it was not good. It wasn't that good. I should get rid of it. Let's do it now. Where is it? Buy. These peas, great peas, best peas I've had, but they're expensive. Omelette powder, I use it every day with my blueberries. It does come from India, but supposedly it does so many things that you can see around corners. And plus you can put on your hair. Doesn't that make you feel confident that you want to put in your food? You can also put in your hair. That's a seller, ain't it? But I read a lot of studies, and it's supposed to be very good for blood pressure and many other things. Cholesterol. And this was the wheat berries. Now, the chopped onions, these are actually better than the ones I got from the Mormons. They're a little expensive, but the other ones I bought were brown and kind of dried out, where these were actually very good quality onions. My yogurt culture for making, I recommend it. I still haven't used the root beer extract. The soy curls are a very good soy product. There's hardly any processing going on in this. But I used them a couple of times, but after a while, I just got away from using them, and I would rather just use the plain soy. I found it was better. This gelatin powder, Jello is not too expensive, but this is cool because if you have fruit juices, let's say you have a garden with a lot of fruit trees and stuff, or you make your own juices, you can use this gelatin to make your own special Jello. These are soy-based products, sausage bits and beef chunks. That sound tasty? Like, let's run home and have some beef chunks. These sausage bits are actually quite tasty compared to they're better than the beef chunks, and they're like $17. You can use them with rice or potatoes or different things. I enjoyed them. Let's see what else. The elderberries, for making my own elderberry syrup. This is a good buy. It's very healthy for you. So those are the things I've been buying and going to continue to buy to get me going again with my food storage. And I'm going to be buying a freezer and coming up with things like adding those packs of soy and other things, and catching some fish and things, and putting them in my freezer and getting more, because you never know what's going to happen. Who knew what all things happened this year? You don't know what's going to happen next year. I'm going to be more prepared than I was this year. So those are some of the things I've been buying. I'm going to leave links to all of the videos I mentioned in my talk here. And by the way, this is my channel. I put new stuff on every week. Been doing it for 13 years. Got over 880 videos and a bunch of cool people I feature on my channel. No relation to me. And I put new stuff on every week and got a bunch of cool playlists too. So I hope you come back. Hope that was something you enjoy. And I don't normally talk this fast in my videos. I do not know why. I don't remember what I had for lunch. All right, guys. Y'all take care. See you out there.